Madison police continue to work to track down two men who allegedly shot a teenager near Westside Park. And as national political leaders make their way to Wisconsin campaign rallies, there's a big push to get college students out to the polls early.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It's 6 o'clock now on this Monday, October 22nd, and I almost put away my kayak after the snow on Saturday. I'm so glad I didn't, because we have a week of good weather right now.
We actually have pretty nice weather in the upcoming forecast. It'll be warmer than it was this weekend, which is great news. Actually, a beautiful forecast coming up for today. It is chilly outside right now, though. 31 degrees here in Madison. Winds are calm, though, so no wind chill to report this morning. Sunrise not occurring until 7:20 this morning. Here's a look at our current temperatures. 31 in Madison, as I mentioned, 36 though in Mineral Point, down to 30 in the Dells, and the cold spot this morning is Camp Douglas with 24 degrees. Here's a look at our temperatures over the next 12 hours. Should be a pretty nice warm up today to highs right around 57 here in Madison. Some spots to the south, though, may top around 60 degrees. Here's a look at your first alert traffic update this morning. We've been following an accident that occurred earlier this morning on Highway 33. It has closed that road in both directions between Highway 67 and Madison Road, so you'll need to route around that accident. Here in Madison, things are still pretty quiet. A few brake lights are showing up on the Beltline right around that Stoughton Road area. Otherwise, travel times into Madison still looking pretty normal. We're going at posted speeds right now.
Quite the different story from Saturday morning. There was snow on the roads.
I mean, it looked like a blizzard at times with that snow coming sideways. So nothing like that in the forecast today.
I was at the game Saturday morning, and it was just brutal. The wind was hitting you so hard. Yeah.
There weren't enough layers for that game.
Definitely not. All right, thanks, Hattie.
You're welcome.
So with the temperatures Hattie is forecasting, it can be tough to think about that inevitable sub-zero weather that will require some heat. Heating experts say now is the time to prepare, and it doesn't have to cost a lot. Our Josh Spreiter has some tips on how you can stay warm and save some money in the meantime. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. We all want to save some money, right? I know I'm one of the many that waits until the last possible second in order to save some cash. And we know those heating bills can get pretty steep during the winter months, especially depending on the amount of space you're looking to keep warm. There are some pretty easy things you can do around the house to save a bit of cash. First, heating experts encourage you to look into a programmable thermostat. That way you can stop heating an empty or sleeping home. You can also use blinds or curtains for strategic window insulation. And you know how your skin gets super dry during the winter? Well, that dryness makes the air feel colder, so you can also raise the humidity in your home.
When you're not at home at night, set your thermostat back. And what we found is for every degree you set it back, it's about a 1% savings in energy costs for that 8-hour period, for example.
If you want to save money, experts say it's also crucial you eliminate those drafts around doors, windows, or any other small entrances into your home, like the chimney. Surprisingly, experts tell me you can also use a space heater in rooms you're in the most. And as we told you earlier, don't neglect that furnace maintenance and replace that filter every month. It could turn deadly, especially when it comes down to carbon monoxide poisoning. We'll have more on how you can protect your family coming up just after 6:30, ladies.
It is such a shame. Every winter, it seems, we at least hear about one of these situations where the carbon monoxide levels are up and somebody didn't have an alarm. So looking forward to those reminders, Josh. Thank you so much. All right, new this morning. Deputies in Adams County are investigating skeletal remains found in the woods over the weekend. They think those remains belong to William Sheeran. He's been missing from Adams County since June of 2017. Deer hunters found those remains just a few miles to the south of the town of Monroe, just west of the Highway C and Highway 13 intersection. Investigators are waiting on more testing to confirm those remains belong to Sheeran. We'll bring you the latest over on channel3000.com. Now to the latest developments on a missing teenage girl whose parents were found shot dead in their northern Wisconsin home. Again, Barron County Sheriff, the state investigators leading this case, and the FBI will all update us on Jamie Kloss's disappearance. That will happen at 4 o'clock this afternoon. We'll try to carry that live on our Channel 3000 Facebook page. 13-year-old Jamie has been missing for a week now. Authorities found her mom, Denise, and dad, James, fatally shot in their home. Police still haven't said who dialed 911 on Denise's cell phone to report their murders. Jamie is now at the top of the FBI missing persons list. She is still believed to be in danger. Now, Barron County School District is holding a special gathering of hope tonight in honor of Jamie. If you have any information, you're asked to call 855-744-3879.
Madison police are looking for two men who shot a teenager on the city's west side. It happened along Raymond Road Saturday night near Elver Park. Officers say a 26-year-old and a 21-year-old were walking down the street there when two men tried to rob them. The 16-year-old was shot and had to be taken to the hospital, but is expected to be okay. Anyone with information should call the Madison Area Crime Stoppers. Fitchburg police are looking into another armed robbery, this one happening at a liquor store in broad daylight. It happened Sunday at Liquor Town on Williamsburg Way, that's just off of Verona Road. Police say a man with a hood over his face held the cashier and a customer there at gunpoint. He did get away with some cash. Anyone with information on that crime is asked to call Fitchburg police.
Almost 6:06 your time this morning. And in politics, Wisconsin Democrats running for Congress and governor will get some support from a former presidential candidate later today. Senator Bernie Sanders will make 2 stops in Wisconsin, including an event this morning in Milwaukee with Senator Tammy Baldwin, Representative Gwen Moore, and Randy Bryce, who is running for Speaker Paul Ryan's seat. Tony Evers and Mandela Barnes, the Democratic candidates for governor and lieutenant governor, will be at that event as well. Sanders and Bryce will hold a second event later on today in Kenosha. Former President Barack Obama will be in Milwaukee Friday supporting Democratic candidates, and President Trump will be stopping outside of Wausau Wednesday for a campaign rally in support of Governor Scott Walker and Baldwin's Republican opponent, Leah Vukmir.
There was a chance to hear from some of the lesser-known candidates for governor this weekend. Edgewood High School students hosted candidates from the Wisconsin, Green, and Libertarian parties for a debate of their own. The students wrote and asked the questions, focusing on road and education funding, legalizing marijuana, and climate change, along with Foxconn. All 6 candidates were invited. Tony Evers said he was going to send a surrogate, but ended up not sending anyone. Governor Walker never responded to the request.
There's a push on the UW campus today to vote in-person absentee ahead of next month's elections. There's a week-long event called Vote Fest that kicks off today. Students can come out and cast their ballots early, as well as take part in art projects, watch free films, and participate in a Q&A to talk about options for the midterms. You'll be able to find more information on how to take part in Vote Fest and how to vote early over on channel3000.com. We do want to remind you, though, that you can still register at your polling place on Election Day if you are not registered ahead of time. All you have to do is bring a valid photo ID and proof of Wisconsin residency.
We are coming off a bit of a mixed bag of a weekend for sports fans here in Wisconsin. The Brewers' playoff run came to an end Saturday night, just 1 game short of the World Series. The Dodgers will play the Boston Red Sox in that series starting tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Badgers did pull out a win for homecoming weekend, though they were battling through what appeared to be all 4 seasons, with rain, snow, wind, and sun all making an appearance at some point during that game. The final score against Illinois, 49-20. All right, 6:08 your time now. If you already have your Halloween costume ready, there's a really cool opportunity to help kids that have to stay in the hospital. We're talking with the organizers of A Moment of Magic on how we can be princesses and superheroes for a day and give those patients a break.
We can only hope trick-or-treating weather will be like today's forecast. The kids wouldn't have to wear their snow pants underneath their costume. My goodness, Hattie has a nice fall day in her first alert forecast. That's next on News 3 this morning.
Good morning from the Hattie-O Patio. It's Monday morning. Temperatures are a little chilly this morning. We've dropped below the freezing point here in Madison, but a nice forecast is expected today. Take a live look from the WISC-TV Skycam. Skies are clear, but you really can't see any light on the horizon yet. You have to wait till about an hour before sunrise, and we're still a little bit more than an hour before the sunrise this morning. That happens at 7:20. High temperature trend, though, through the next 10 days. We're actually right where we should be today. Normal high today is 57. That is the forecast high as well. We are going to drop back down, though, to below normal as we head through the rest of the week, right into the upcoming weekend. So this rather cool temperature trend is expected to continue. Things are pretty quiet around here and all around the area this morning. Taking a look at Weather Track, we're hardly even noticing any cloud cover in the region early today. Temperatures statewide and across the upper Midwest, 37 in Minneapolis this morning, 28 though in Eau Claire, 25 in Rhinelander, 31 here in Green Bay, and that's the same as we are here in Madison. There are some 20s on the map though this morning, 28 in Lone Rock and 25 in Camp Douglas. Your future track wind speeds through the day today. Winds are quiet right now, so no wind chill to factor in early this morning. As we go through the day today, expect a westerly wind to increase a little bit, but not bad. 8 to 15 miles an hour is all we're expecting through the day today. Winds will then die back down during the overnight hours and shift to the northwest tonight into tomorrow, and that will signal a little bit of a cooler day on Tuesday. Here's a look at your future track forecast model, though temperatures are starting out quite chilly in some locations this morning. Mostly sunny skies expected, though, through the morning right into the afternoon. Temperatures will already be back in the 50s by lunchtime. We're headed to highs in the mid and upper 50s, even around 60 degrees in a few spots later today. Enjoy the sunshine and warmer temperatures. Clear skies overnight tonight with a cool start tomorrow. We'll once again be down in the middle 30s. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. Temperatures are going to cool down through the middle of the week. We're looking at highs only in the upper 40s tomorrow. Lots of sunshine is expected though, and we're right around 50 through the rest of the week. Rain chances are back in the forecast late Thursday into Friday. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Well, we were watching a crash that happened earlier this morning near Mayville, closing Highway 33 in both directions between Highway 67 and Madison, but it does look like the DOT has just cleared it. Expect extra delays at least for a few minutes in that area while things get moving again. Here in Madison, things are pretty quiet so far on the Beltline. No major delays heading east or westbound. Other routes here in Dane County not looking too bad. A few brake lights on Stoughton Road and Verona Road near the Beltline ramps. No problems yet downtown around the Capitol Square and UW campus. Volume not an issue at this point. And other main routes heading into Madison, they're cruising along at the usual speeds with no crashes or delays. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Good stuff. Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Hattie. So when you spend a lot of time in a hospital and most of the people you see are dressed in scrubs, being greeted by a Disney princess or Spider-Man is a welcome diversion.
Yes, a new organization on the UW campus is connecting people in costume with the chance to put a smile on a kid's face. Here with us this morning are Tori Matson and Snow White Shelby Wagner with a moment of magic. You look lovely, by the way.
Thank you.
Good morning to both of you. Tell us a little bit about this program.
Yeah, so A Moment of Magic is a national 501c3 nonprofit whose volunteers dress up as different princesses and superheroes and other fairy tale characters, and we visit children in the hospital. So we service kids who are medically vulnerable, who have disabilities, or who are in the foster care system. So we have a pretty wide range of kids that we service, and it's mostly kids who are in need of some way.
Shelby, how in the world did you first of all, did you have this costume before or after joining the organization?
No, so after joining the organization, you actually raise money for a costume, and then you send in a big application doing all sorts of different things, singing and sending a bunch of things about yourself, and then it's a coronation, and you find out who your character is, and then you get all of your parts of your costume. So it's a really fun, big process.
That is fascinating.
Yes.
Did you have was this a theater background thing that you wanted to,
No, actually, I just always had an interest in pediatric cancer. So when I heard about A Moment of Magic, it was just something I had to do.
That's awesome. You both have been to the hospital. You've been to these kids, visiting these kids. What is their reaction when they see you dressed like this?
It is absolutely phenomenal. They truly believe that you are the character that you portray. So they are just so excited. They're asking you if we know their friends like Elsa or Anna, and they just really truly believe that you are the character that you are dressed up as.
Absolutely. And Tori, if people want to get involved, if they're watching this morning, what's the best way to get involved, to get, be a part of this?
So the best way would be to contact us through our email. It's amom.wisconsin@gmail.com.
A moment of magic.
Yes, exactly.
Sure.
And then we are also on Facebook and Instagram, so you can contact us through there. You can check out our Facebook and our social medias, and we'd love to have more volunteers. And then we're also always looking for kids who we can visit. So if anybody knows any child who would be interested in a character visit, then just reach out and contact us.
Such a neat opportunity. All right. Thank you, ladies, so much for waking up early with us.
Thank you.
Thank goodness the 7 dwarves could stay asleep today. That just would have been too much. All right. Your time right now is 6:17. We can't say that our weather team didn't warn us about the wintry weather over the weekend, but it still surprised a lot of us to see the snow and whatever other stuff there was swirling around. Chris is telling us why what many people thought was hail is actually something entirely different.
We won't have to deal with any of that today, though. Hattie's got a really pleasant day to start out your work week. She'll tell you what the kiddos need to be wearing out on the way to the door this morning when News 3 This Morning returns.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. We are starting out a little bit warmer today than yesterday, believe it or not, but temperatures are still pretty chilly. 24-hour temperature change, about 5 to 10 degrees warmer today than at this time yesterday. 31 though in Madison, 34 in Janesville, 31 in the Dells, down to the 20s through the Wisconsin River Valley. So you'll definitely want a jacket early this morning. That bus stop weather, though, is looking pretty nice for the school day, especially for recess during the middle of the day. Temperatures will be in the mid-50s with lots of sunshine. We're going to keep that sunshine all afternoon with highs at 57 degrees. That extended forecast is relatively quiet through the week. Temperatures hover right around 50, though, so a little cooler. We do have a chance for a few snowflakes back in the forecast Saturday night into early Sunday, but definitely not like anything that we saw this past weekend, Chris. Kind of a crazy day on Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday was a really wild day. We got a little bit of everything falling out of the sky, whether that was snow or sleet or grapple, and a lot of folks like to call that hail over the weekend. So we're going to go ahead and explain the difference. First, I do want to start with a little bit of a time lapse that shows the snow that came through the area over the weekend, and it came in very quickly. Suddenly, we went from sunshine to clouds to a squall of snow that worked on through the area. At one point, we actually got in on some pretty large snowflakes falling out of the sky as well. Then we cleared things out, and then once again we had our next little wintry mix work its way on into the area. I was all over Twitter. It was exciting for a weather person, yes, but I got questions from you guys, and this one came from Jody Lasco, and she said, "What is this though? It's not flakes." That came with the picture as well. Let's go ahead and make that picture a little bit bigger, and you almost see what looks a little bit like Dippin' Dots somewhat kind of on those leaves there, and she's right. That is not snow, and a lot of folks confuse that in particular for hail, but it's not. It's known as grapple, and a lot of weather people tend to get excited over grapple just because it's unique in the way that it's formed. But here's the deal. Hail, that's a process of a thunderstorm. That's a strong updraft that sends water droplets into a layer of that cloud that's below freezing, and those can get very large, and then those layers just kind of build up and build up and build up as that updraft keeps going until the hailstone becomes too big and it falls out of the cloud. Grapple, however, is super cooled water. That is a water droplet that is actually below freezing but still liquid that attaches to a falling snowflake and freezes onto it, and then those come down. It's very soft and squishy. It almost looks like a Dippin' Dot, and so that's why we use that there. Sleet is totally different. That is where it almost looks like a hailstone, but that is a melted snowflake that is in the process of refreezing. And so we got a lot of sleet, grapple, and snow over the weekend, but hail is a process of a thunderstorm, and we did not have any thunderstorms here this week.
It's hard to keep track of all of it because we're about to see probably even more of all of it coming up here in the next few months.
Yep, as we go through December, January, February, those winter months, I'm sure we'll have plenty of chances to become experts on hail versus grapple.
I think the next social media debate has to be, Chris, what is worse? Snow, grapple, sleet? I know what my choice is.
I would have to argue the sleet.
Right?
Yeah.
It's awful.
Chris kind of likes it all, though. He's excited about all of this.
I do like it all, but what can I say?
Good stuff. Well, thank you, Chris.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
All right, cold weather on the way means it's a good time to protect your home from some unwanted visitors this season. It's Rodent Awareness Week. Oh, this is terrible video to watch, which means it's a peak time of the year for these little guys to make their way into homes and businesses and cause structural damage or maybe even spread diseases. Pest control companies say peanut butter, not cheese, is your best bet for trying to lure mice into a trap. They suggest relying on the old snap traps, placing them at 90-degree angles along your walls wherever you see signs of rodents like droppings or chewed boxes to get the job done.
So speaking of protecting ourselves, our phones carry an incredible amount of personal data, and that's why consumer protection officials in Wisconsin want to make sure that information does not fall into the wrong hands. The Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection says, as annoying as it can be to enter that 4-digit code every time you open up your phone, it's important to make sure that nobody else can access things like banking apps, for instance. If you have multiple devices, they recommend you use a different passcode for each one and take advantage of any fingerprint recognition security features they may have.
A good reminder for some of us who think it's never going to happen to us.
Exactly.
All right, 6:25 your time now. Along with the vermin we were just talking about, 'tis the season for bucks and does. We have an important reminder from law enforcement when it comes to deer on the road.
And new numbers show just how much more dangerous it can be for teens to be driving with other teens in the car when News 3 This Morning returns. There's an idea being considered by Dane County that would help ease the financial burden for families whose kids face jail time.
Now's the time to get that furnace checked and everything surrounding it before the cold of winter arrives. I'm Josh Spreader live with how you can protect your family from carbon monoxide poisoning this winter.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. It is 6:29 on this Monday, October 22nd, and it's kind of hard to think about getting that furnace prepared with all of the warmer temperatures ahead.
Oh yeah, 31 degrees right now,
Yeah,
so
right.
Josh is looking a little cold out there, but we're going to see a big warm up today. Hattie has the details. She's out on the patio this morning. Good morning, Hattie.
Good morning. Yeah, we have a nice day in the forecast coming up today, but those nighttime temperatures are right around the freezing point, so colder air is settling into the region. Let's take a live look from the WISC-TV sky cam. Finally starting to get light on the horizon. You can see a few high-level cirrus clouds in the shot here in Madison, but that's about it. It's 31 degrees in the capital city, 31 as well in the Dells, 34 in Janesville, 36 though in Mineral Point and Platteville. Here's our day planner temperatures. We have abundant sunshine through the area today. Temperatures should warm pretty quickly as well. We're headed to a high 57 here in Madison. I would not be surprised though to see a few 60s on the map to the south later on this afternoon. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. No accidents to report at this hour, which is great news. We just have a few brake lights showing up on Stoughton Road, maybe a little slower inbound on East Washington as well. Right now, if you are headed into Madison, a little slower on Verona Round northbound as you head to the Beltline. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right, thanks so much, Hattie. 6:31 your time now. A proposal in the 2019 budget is calling for Dane County to pick up the tab for kids in custody at the Juvenile Detention Center. The Cap Times reports that right now, parents are billed for any out-of-home care for their child. That includes shelters, foster care, group homes, and the detention center. That policy, though, disproportionately affects minority families, as 73% of the detention center population is kids of color. If that fee change goes through, the county's revenue would go down around $18,000. The county's juvenile court administrator says losing that revenue wouldn't significantly affect center operations.
The city of Madison could soon partner with students at La Follette High School to look into the effects of the changing climate here in Madison. Now, the city currently has no sort of vulnerability assessment when it comes to extreme weather like what we saw this summer with the flooding. That plan would identify the kinds of storms or other events the city could see over the next 20 years, identify who is most at risk, and develop ways to protect those individuals from harm. The La Follette Capstone Project would incorporate student research into that plan. Those students would work closely with the city's sustainability manager and submit a written report to Common Council next year. That idea will be considered at this evening's Sustainable Madison Committee meeting. The Rock County Sheriff's Office is warning drivers that it's the time of year when deer collisions start to be more and more frequent. We are getting into deer mating season, which means more deer will be acting erratically and not exhibiting their normal behavior. As days get shorter as well, rush hours will coincide with dawn and dusk when the deer are most active. If a crash cannot be avoided, drivers should not pump the brakes or swerve. That could cause an even more significant accident to happen. Now, you can self-report deer collisions on the Rock County Sheriff's Office website there on your screen. They will only respond, however, if the road is blocked or if someone is injured.
Speaking of crashes, there's new data out that might have you reconsidering the rules for young drivers in your family. According to AAA, teenage drivers with teenage passengers increase their risk of a fatal crash by 51%. When older passengers, ages 35 and up, were in the car, that fatality rate dropped by 8%. The latest statistics show over the course of just 1 year, more than 1 million car crashes reported in the country involved teen drivers. That resulted in more than 3,200 deaths.
A family is out of their home this morning after a fire that started in an outdoor grill caused $200,000 worth of damage. The Salvation Army is helping those people this morning. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says this fire happened around 4 p.m. on Appaloosa Lane in the town of Cottage Grove. Now, the homeowner was reportedly burning cardboard in the grill. The fire spread to the house, which is considered to be a total loss. No one was hurt. Your time right now is almost 6:34, and an estimated 430 people die every year from carbon monoxide poisoning.
Those are the kinds of numbers that has the CDC out with the warning before we see the cold and snow stick around here in southern Wisconsin. Our Josh Spreiter is live in the backyard with how to protect your family this winter. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. We're soon going to see that gas starting to flow a little bit more. This is the meter here in the backyard. Probably a little bit different than what you deal at with home. But you got to remember that furnace, that can become a silent killer during the winter months. So we've got some tips for you here this morning. Gas and oil burning furnaces produce carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is an invisible, odorless poison gas that kills hundreds every year and makes thousands more sick. The CDC says there are some easy ways to protect your family. First, be sure to make sure you have your furnace inspected every year and replace the filter on a monthly basis. You should also install battery operated or battery backup CO detectors near every sleeping area in your home. Then be sure to make them or have them checked on a regular basis to make sure they are functioning properly.
You don't want any leaks or anything like that, so you have that heating contractor come in and do that inspection. They'll find that and make any repairs that are needed, which is really important.
Remember, at high levels, carbon monoxide can cause death within minutes. Symptoms of exposure to carbon monoxide include headaches, fatigue, dizziness, shortness of breath, nausea, and confusion. And even though we're not really into the colder months yet, now is the time to get all of this prepped, because the heating specialists we talk to say a lot of people wait until that last possible moment. Well, that's when everyone gets busy, so you're going to have to be waiting a little bit longer to get things fixed. So a lot of good tips here this morning, something we don't want to think about. But the cold is coming, ladies.
We don't want to think about it, but we report on it every winter, whether it's carbon monoxide poisoning or a heater fire. Good reminder to get that done right now. All right, Josh Spreiter reporting live for us. Thanks, Josh.
So Josh was just talking about carbon monoxide concerns, and a program here in Dane County is replacing 2 furnaces for free ahead of this winter because of carbon monoxide leaks. Volunteers with the Heats On program have checked furnaces for more than 60 veterans this year. Over the past 3 decades, they've serviced more than 2,500 homes free of charge.
It is something we might take for granted, but products from Wisconsin's forests help contribute more than $24 billion to the state's economy every year. In recognition of that, Governor Walker is declaring this week Forest Products Week. That covers everything from paper to lumber to food packaging. It's a way to honor the people who work in and look after the state's forests and the more than 1,200 companies that make those products. Those jobs make up about 14% of Wisconsin's manufacturing industry.
6:36 right now. The Adams County Sheriff says human remains discovered by hunters over the weekend belong to a man who's been missing for more than a year. We'll have an update in the morning sprint.
And we have a really awesome update to share from Columbia County this morning, where a guy spending his life savings to help others will now spend his life with the woman who's supported him every step of the way. The news is back in the morning on News 3 this morning.
Welcome back. It is 20 to 7 on this Monday morning, and we always ask you to share your morning with us. On a Monday, you might want to be like Alfalfa here in Madison, all snuggled up under the covers. Mona is, I'm assuming, Alfalfa's owner. Thank you for sharing, Mona.
Snuggle up under those covers like Alfalfa and send us your morning pictures. You can post them on Facebook or on Twitter and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We always share our favorites right here on the program. We have an update to a story we brought you earlier this month about a ported man who is paying it forward.
Jake Neeson has been working for weeks to renovate a house he bought with his own money to make it into a sober living home for men struggling with addiction. Jake has been in recovery himself, and the best treatment for him was a sober living situation like the one he hopes to create. He's gotten a lot of support from his girlfriend, Brazina, and she's working on her master's degree in counseling psychology and plans to teach meditation classes at that sober living home. When Jake officially finished up renovations yesterday, he decided to hit another big milestone.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Keep guessing.
Let's grow old together.
You figured it out!
Oh my god!
Santos?
Is this like there's a filming thing going on?
Will you marry me?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Her reaction is so great. Congratulations to those two. After they open this facility, they are hoping to open a second sober living home for women. So Jake had this whole ornate situation with the tree and everything. It was about growing old. I think he put old wigs in the tree. And he's a very unique and very creative dude.
That's a lovely meaning behind that.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
It's going to be good, and congratulations again. That is so
Well-deserved
awesome.
happiness.
Very well deserved.
All right, 6:42 your time now. Some more heartwarming news for you on this Monday morning, this time in the form of sunshine and mid-50s. Hattie's got a spectacular fall forecast. Before things start to cool down a little bit again, she'll have the details next.
First, though, it is October 22nd. Happy birthday to Nash, Madison, and all the kiddos turning 3 today. Enjoy the weather and some ice cream, and thanks for celebrating with us here on News 3 this morning.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. Happy Monday morning. What a beautiful sunrise we're going to see today. Take a look at our live view from the Queen View Radio Skycam in Platteville. Skies are clear there, starting to get a little bit lighter as well. Lots of sunshine in the forecast. There is just a little band of clouds that has developed over the last 30 minutes or so here across southern Wisconsin. Generally pretty high level cirrus clouds, so they're just going to filter the sun a little bit and make that sunrise beautiful early today. Things are pretty quiet across the upper Midwest, and here is the look this morning. Again, just a few clouds here and there. No precipitation showing up on the map right now. Future track forecast model for the upper Midwest is going to show you lots of sunshine through the day today. Now, a cold front will move through the area later today. We're not expecting any precipitation from that front, just a shift in the winds and then cooler temperatures as we head towards Tuesday. High pressure, though, building in again from the north, from Canada. We'll keep a lot of sunshine in our forecast as we go through the middle of the week. No precipitation in our area of the country, at least until later on Thursday. So here's a look at the airport delays. If today is travel day for you, looking good around here, although there have been some delays in Cleveland. Detroit now back on schedule, but Cleveland delays are growing 30 to 45 minutes right now due to volume. So not due to weather, but volume. Elsewhere across the country, looking pretty good travel-wise. We're going to see a lot of sun on that travel map today from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast. Really, we're looking at pretty quiet weather across the country. Maybe a few showers in Salt Lake City. Texas, of course, is wet. They're dealing with more tropical moisture as we head through this week once again. Here's a look at our current temperatures this morning and conditions. We're at 31 here in Madison. We do have a little bit of cloud cover in the area. Winds are calm, though, so no wind chill to factor in this morning. That's a good news because it is a little chilly this morning. 27 in Boscoville, 28 in Lone Rock. The Dells now dropping to 29, still holding steady at 31 here in Madison. Winds are light right now and expected to remain fairly light through the day. Take a look at your Pinpoint City forecast highs today. Would not be surprised to see a few 60s on the map, especially in Stoughton, Evansville, places south of Madison today. With that sunshine, should warm up nicely. 61 in Prairie du Chien, 59 in Mineral Point, 57 today in Dodgeville, and to the north, a lot of upper 50s there, 58 in Mauston, as well as Montello. Madison's forecast has a high of 57 today with lots of sunshine. We're looking at temperatures then dropping back into the upper 40s tomorrow. Quiet weather, though, through Wednesday. Temperatures will hold right around 50 through the rest of the week, with chances for rain returning late Thursday into Friday, and then again for the upcoming weekend. Here's our pet walk forecast, though. Look at Gia in Belleville. Cutie. Cute kitty. Look at those whiskers.
I was just about to say that. Those
Very
are some
long.
long whiskers.
Needs a haircut.
Very picturesque, though.
Yeah,
Gia.
cute coloring.
Yeah, absolutely. She'll be basking in the sun today, I think.
I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Stay with us. The morning sprint is up next.
6:51 time now for the morning sprint. Hattie says it is a beautiful fall day with highs in the mid-50s coming up.
Josh Spreiter is giving us a winter reality check on how to save money on your heating bill. But we start with the latest developments on a missing Wisconsin girl whose parents were found dead in their northern Wisconsin home. The Barron County Sheriff, state investigators, and the FBI will update us on Jamie Kloss's disappearance. That's at 4 this afternoon. We're going to try and carry that live on our Channel 3000 Facebook page. The FBI has added Jamie to the top of its missing persons list. They do still think she's in danger.
Deputies in Adams County are testing skeletal remains found in the woods to confirm they belong to a missing man. Deer hunters came across those remains a few miles south of the town of Monroe, just west of Highway C and Highway 13, the intersection there. Authorities do believe those remains belong to William Sheeran, who's been missing since June of 2017.
Madison police are looking for 2 men who shot a teenager on the city's west side. It happened along Raymond Road near Elver Park Saturday night. Officers say a 16-year-old and a 21-year-old were walking down the street there when 2 men tried to rob them. The 16-year-old was shot and had to be taken to the hospital, but is expected to be okay. Anyone with information should call the Madison area Crime Stoppers.
Overseas this morning, Turkish officials are expected to announce the results of its investigation into the death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi sometime this week. Just in this morning, CNN released surveillance footage that was leaked from the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. It showed an alleged body double leaving that building wearing Khashoggi's clothes. Saudi Arabia claims the Washington Post writer died in a fistfight and was not murdered. In an interview with the paper, President Trump did not say whether he believes the Saudi government is behind the journalist's death.
The caravan of migrants is now 5,000 people strong, heading toward the U.S.-Mexico border this morning. That group started in Honduras 10 days ago. Most of them are walking, while others are in cars, trucks, or motorcycles. They say they're trying to escape violence in their home countries, saying they have no choice but to leave their homes and seek asylum. President Trump continues to say those migrants will be turned away, and there may be military response if they try to cross the border.
We're waking to sunshine this morning. We have sun in the forecast all day. Temperatures starting below the freezing point, though, in some spots. 27 in Watertown, 29 in the Dells, 31 here in Madison. A pretty nice warm-up, though, is expected today with mostly sunny skies and a light west wind. Temperatures will top at 57 degrees later on this afternoon.
I'm Josh Spreiter live this morning with how you can protect your family and save money when heating your home this winter. First, be sure to hire a professional to make any furnace repairs and replace those problems right away. Install carbon monoxide detectors near every sleeping area in your home. And if you're looking to save on some cash, experts say it's crucial to eliminate drafts. Look into a programmable thermostat, use blinds or curtains for strategic window insulation. And you could also raise the humidity in your home. They say you should be also very careful when using space heaters or turning on the fireplace. You're encouraged to have annual inspections and chimney sweeps. You can find all of this information and more at channel3000.com.
Thank you, Josh. After this summer's flooding, the city of Madison could partner with students at La Follette High School to look into the effects of changing climates. That plan would identify the kinds of storms and other events the city could see over the next 20 years or so, identify who is most at risk, and develop ways to protect those individuals from harm. Now, students would work closely with the city's sustainability manager and submit a written report to Common Council next year.
A proposal in the 2019 budget is calling for Dane County to pick up the tab for kids in custody at the Juvenile Detention Center. The Cap Times reports that right now, parents are billed for any out-of-home care for their child. If the fee change goes through, the county's revenue would go down around $18,000, but officials say that wouldn't significantly affect center operations.
Senator Bernie Sanders will make stops in Milwaukee and Kenosha today to support Democrats running for Congress and for governor. We'll have updates on those visits later today on News 3. Former President Barack Obama will also be in Milwaukee on Friday supporting Democratic candidates. President Trump will stop outside of Wausau Wednesday for a campaign rally in support of Governor Scott Walker and Senator Tammy Baldwin's Republican opponent, Leah Vukmir.
We are coming off a bit of a mixed bag of a weekend for Wisconsin sports fans. The Brewers' playoff run came to an end Saturday night, just one game short of the World Series. The Dodgers will play the Boston Red Sox in that series starting tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Badgers did pull out a win for homecoming weekend, battling through rain and snow to take the game against Illinois 49-20.
A reminder, if you're heading close to the UW campus this morning, construction delays are forcing crews on Charter Street to shut down traffic between University Avenue and West Johnson Street. until next year. They've been working on installing a steam tunnel there since August, and because they're so far behind, they'll be closing off all lanes of traffic on Charter Street in that stretch until the work is done.
6:56 your time now. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with the final look at your first alert traffic. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, it's starting to pick up on the westbound Beltline, tapping the brakes between Monona Drive and West Broadway. Plan on a couple minutes extra added to your drive time. Inbound John Olin beginning to get busier, approaching the Olin Avenue and North Shore Drive intersections, moving into downtown. Northbound side of Rona Road, you're slowing down prior to the Highway PD intersection. And other main routes heading into Madison are cruising along at the posted speeds with no crashes or delays. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thanks, Josh.
And a beautiful sunrise this morning across southern Wisconsin. Actually, a gorgeous day coming up. Temperatures are going to climb into the mid and upper 50s with lots of sunshine through the afternoon. Enjoy the warmth today. It is going to be a little cooler for the rest of the week.
And a reminder, we're waiting for an update from FBI on that missing northern Wisconsin girl. We're going to bring you the updates from their press conference. That's this afternoon at 4. Get outside and enjoy the gorgeous Monday. Have a good one.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.
Excuse me.